I'm sharing a few of my photographs, people and places of my native Caribbean, particularly Jamaica. I begin with a self-portrait so you can see who I am. I turn to a photograph that I took in Bridgetown, the capital of Barbados. The lighting is unusual. It's called the Emancipation Statue. And in it you see a newly freed slave from Barbados breaking his chains. The inscription, which I do not include, is from the Emancipation Law. I follow with a small sculpture that I did of dark-skinned hands holding a model of the earth, which I simply called Hands. That's the title. My school entered it into the Racial Unity New Hampshire statewide art competition, and I'll find out later in November at the Courier Museum in Manchester, New Hampshire, whether I have won the prize. I now turn to far less famous structures than the Emancipation Statue, which are beautiful, I think, in their very own way. The first is a series of corrugated iron shops in Trinidad's capital of Port of Spain. Caribbean capitals remind me very much of each other. This photograph is not at all fancy. Mom and pop shops, board and zinc roofs, wood with a little metal on their roofs, with a slightly bent, slightly falling electricity pole. The photograph could have been taken in Port of Spain 80 years ago. So little has changed. I then turn to another very simple rectangular zinc outhouse. It has broken concrete steps. An outhouse is an outside bathroom when people lack indoor plumbing. It's so small, it's barely a room. I took it outside Morant Bay, which is a rural town in eastern Jamaica. It reminds me of the very basic housing that so many poor Jamaicans have. I move on to a corrugated gate. It's old, it's rusty, but so beautiful. It has lovely fretwork at the top. Taking at the entrance to a Jamaican yard, also outside Morant Bay on our Jamaica's east coast. Followed by a picture of the Pelican Bar at sunset. It's off of the Treasure Beach fishing village on Jamaica's south coast, a very simple wooden structure. You can reach it only by sea. I follow with a picture of the dried corals of the Trelawney coastline on Jamaica's north coast. There's a boy there, but you can hardly see him because the coral is so overwhelming in the photograph. I turn to a picture of Reggae Falls. It's a waterfall in St. Thomas, Jamaica. I love the way the photograph is ambiguous. You see the river water and the lone man in the foreground and the swimmers in the background and the water falling in the background. But because of the reflection of the light, you're not quite sure if it's a waterfall. And that's followed by a picture of my cousin who was bathing in the river right in front of the waterfall. He's standing up, followed by a close-up of him. I love the reflection in the close-up photograph of the speckles of the light on the water and also on the brown twists in his hair. His hair is twisted. I enjoy pictures of our Caribbean coastline, so I included 2 shots taken from diverse places as diverse as Suriname in the Dutch Caribbean and Colombia in Colombia's Caribbean coast, the Caribbean coastline of Colombia. I also enjoy highlighting the diversity of Caribbean people. So I included a few shots which I think show our diversity, diverse skin, diverse hair. I love the beauty of our diversity. Finally, I end with my favorite but maybe saddest shot photograph. It's a Jamaican donkey trying to feed in an area where the environment is so damaged. The river is dry and the vegetation is gone. I've also included the Middlesex Arts magazine called Iris and 3 of my photographs that were published there at the very end.